Hi and welcome to this China Petals how-to video for the Heart of Flowers Mosaic kit. This video is to complement the written instructions included in the kit. Some of the processes have been sped up for time purposes, so I could recommend you pause, rewind and re-watch if you need to. Have fun! Start by emptying the bag of tiles either onto a small tray or into the kit box itself. Check the corners just in case anything gets stuck, like that one did. I would recommend giving the shape a quick wipe round the edges with a damp cloth just to remove any brown residue left over from the lasing cutting process. The square tiles will come on a netting. It should be quite easy to pull off, but if you find it difficult, you could cut around the tiles with a pair of scissors. Just don't use your best dressmaking scissors. Place your first tile, which is a blue square, as a diamond at the point of your heart. I place a line of glue around the outside of the heart, making sure I've got a generous covering on there, but you could put the glue on the back of each tile. It's entirely up to you whether you put the glue on the shape or on the back of the tile. And I've got a little cloth there just to wipe my fingers if they get a bit gluey. Starting at the top of the heart, put a purple square down, and then you're going to go round the edge with alternate purple, blue, purple, blue. You can see on this tile that the glue from the netting is still on the tile, so you can either pull this off, cut it off, or just push it underneath. You don't really want that stuck over the edge of the mosaic. I'm going to speed this a little bit up, but you get the idea. Blue, purple, blue, purple. Also need to make sure that the tiles are on the edge and not over the edge. Use the little orange stick that's included in the kit just to nudge your tiles into place. You've got about 15 minutes grab time for the glue, so you've got plenty of time to just readjust if you need to. Repeat the pattern on the other side, starting at the top with a purple tile. Make sure you press the tiles down as you go to form a bond between the tile and the MDF backing. The first flower we're going to make is the one in the top left hand corner with the small purple petals. To get the placement right, I like to put down 3 or 4 purple petals dry without glue on the back, just to get the positioning right, and then with the orange centre underneath. Once I'm happy at the spacing, then I stick them down with the glue. There are 10 purple petals going around 1 orange dot. Then I'm just going to nudge them into place to make sure I'm happy with the orange stick, and then complete the flower. This time I'm putting the glue on the base rather than on the back of each petal, and then just again adjust the petals until you're happy. Now we're going to form the heart in the opposite corner. So this flower is formed of 5 large dusky blue petals and 5 small dusky blue petals around an orange round. You will see that the dusky blue petals come in different shades. Start this flower with a large blue petal at the top, then the orange centre, and then you can go round the edge, alternate large, small, large, small. I've sped this up a little bit, but you take your time. And as before, just use the little stick to nudge them into place to make sure you're happy with the spacing. And don't forget to press the petals down firmly to form that bond. So the next flower is the one at the bottom. So find a purple round and place that at the bottom, and then there's 5 orange petals just to go round in an arc. What I've done there is I've got too much glue on one petal, so I've just shared it with another petal, and then I may have got a little bit of glue on the top, so I just wipe that off as I go along. So if I've got any glue on the top of the tiles, wipe it off as you go along. So the next flower we're doing is the half flower at the side. So I like to place 2 purple petals dry and the middle orange round one. So just doing that to make sure I get the spacing, and then stick those down. And then we do the 4 remaining petals, which may need a bit of nudging to get in, but they will fit in. So you may have to nudge some of the flowers around, like I'm going to do here with this one. So you can see with a bit of adjusting that the flowers will fit in. So it's starting to look good, it's starting to fill up flowers, lovely. The next flower is the one in the centre, just beneath the hanging hole. So what I suggest you do with this one is lay it all out dry before you actually stick them down. So we're using the bright blue petals here, 5 large petals and 5 small petals in alternate. So as you can see, I'm just adjusting it, see what I want it to look like before I'm actually sticking it down. I've sped this up for time, but take your time when you're actually sticking it down, and make sure you don't cover up that hanging hole. And of course use the little orange stick there to nudge them into place to make sure you're happy with the placement. So the last flower is the small little flower that has 5 petals, and these should all be in the dusky blue colour. There's no centre round circle for this one because this is just a small flower, and as you can see I've placed the glue onto the shape, then put the tiles on, and then I'm just adjusting them in the glue to make sure I get the petals where I want them to be. So that's all the flowers done, and the last bit we need to do is fill in the larger gaps with the green leaf shapes, just to fill in those gaps. So you can place these anywhere where you think looks best, and as you can see as this video goes along, I changed my mind on a few occasions, so that's fine. There's no right and there's no wrong, it's just filling in those larger gaps. Don't forget to keep pressing the tiles down onto the MDF to form that bond, and wipe off any glue as you go along. Okay, so there we are, one heart of flowers all stuck down. just need to wait for the glue to dry overnight, and it will dry clear. Next day, grouting. You will need the grout powder, the jumbo mixing stick, an old yoghurt pot to mix the grout in, water and a teaspoon, a pair of gloves, the orange stick from yesterday, and something to cover your work surface. To mix the grout, pour half of the grout powder into your disposable tub. Next, I'm adding 3 teaspoons of water into the powder. This is not enough water at this stage, but I like to mix my grout slowly, adding water powder 1 bit at a time. This gives me control over the mixture and to make sure that I get it to the right consistency. So you're looking for a cream cheese, peanut butter, toothpaste type of consistency. I'm going to speed up this part of the process just for time, but you get the idea. Just add the water a little bit at a time to keep control over the thickness. So as you can see, it's only a couple of drops, mixing it and then a couple of drops until you've mixed in all the grout powder. Once you've mixed it to the design consistency, you need to let the grout slake, which just means let it rest for a couple of minutes before you apply. To apply the grout, place a big dollop of grout into the middle and then spread it using the jumbo mixing stick. Pick up the mosaic and start to press in the grout around the edges and in between all the tiles with your hands. This is why it's important to wear gloves. So yeah, just going around the edges. It's okay to cover up the hanging hole as well at this stage. I've sped up this process just a little bit to save time. The ceramic tiles that we've used for this are porous, so they will start to suck out some of the moisture from the grout powder into the tiles. We're going to leave the mosaic with a generous covering of grout at this stage, and we'll wipe that off later. So because we want to use our gloves later, just try and get rid of as much of the excess that's on your gloves as possible. And I'm using a damp rag here as well, so you can use the gloves later. Right, I've left this for 15 minutes, mainly because the tiles are porous and it will cure quicker because the tiles are sucking the moisture out of the grout. So as you can see, what I'm doing is using my gloved hand and especially my thumb to wipe off the excess from the top of the tiles. The grout is still damp at this stage, so make sure that you don't put too much pressure in the gaps because you don't want to wipe the grout from in between the tiles. So although I've sped this process up, I am being quite gentle with my hand removing the grout from the tops of the tiles. Use the orange stick to get rid of the trickier bits of grout around the edges of the tiles and around the circle. But be careful that you're not digging out the grout in the gaps. This part is one of my favourite parts of grouting. Take your time, enjoy the process, don't go too quick and keep an eye on those gaps, making sure that you're only taking the grout from the tops of the tiles and not from in between the tiles. Don't forget to remove any grout from the back of the heart as well, and the orange stick is very useful for this. Use the side of the orange stick to remove any grout that's on the side of the mosaic. Now it's time to poke through the hanging hole. So all you need to do is get the orange stick and then just push it through the hole. Should go enough of the way through. and then you can remove the excess from the back. If you try and push the hanging hole through too soon, the grout could collapse back in on itself, so doing it at this stage I think it gives you a nicer, neater hole. Give your mosaic a polish with your gloved hand. As you can see, the tiles come up lovely and shiny. Just check it over. Do you need to remove any more grout? I'm just fiddling little bits here and there with this one. Right, I think I've done. Really happy with that. Like the way that the tiles are all lovely and shiny. So it's just a case of clearing up your workstation, putting everything into the pot, and then throwing the pot into the household waste. You need to leave the flower heart now to cure for 24 hours before adding your ribbon. You could also decorate the back of the heart if you wanted to with paint, glitter, decoupage if you wanted to. Just a reminder that this is an indoor display mosaic due to the materials that we've used. Thank you for watching this video, and I hope you had fun making the Heart of Flowers mosaic kit. I'd love to see your finished creation, and if you'd like to upload it to the China Petals Makers group on Facebook, I'd love to see how you got on. Until next time, keep mosaicing!